Hey everybody, it's me. I'm back, albeit a little bit later than I normally am doing this on Monday. So I did a 3 hour, almost a 3.5 hour live stream last night on the Great Conjunction, which we are now really moving into alignment with, and a lot to talk about. And a lot of it is kind of scary, and some of it's kind of interesting. So this is what we expect, right? This is the switch is not going to come on, and all of a sudden we're going to wake up and be in another dimension. We're going to have parallel opportunity, parallel reality, some of which will be really profound and expansive, and the other will be really crushing and deeply hydraulic in its effect. And we're starting to see some of that happen right now. So this is about expansion, contraction, and that's a process that's very much related to birth. And this cycle, this Jupiter-Saturn cycle, will be ongoing throughout the entire year. Now, this is the inception of the conjunction, but it doesn't mean that it is the only time that this is going to occur. Because remember, Jupiter, I think, goes retrograde, and I'm not sure it catches up with Saturn again, but it gets close. But the two will be in play all year. Even though Jupiter does go into Pisces briefly, it does return and come back into Aquarius. So we're just getting started, and try not to judge the results of what's happening like immediate. Although immediately we can see that there are things happening, which I'm going to talk about and go over. Also, I have some news about what's going to be happening tonight at the alternate. I love this. At the alternate version of the city council. So it's on. We have created our own alternate meeting. So let me tee this up for you guys, and I'll show you what it's looking like here, so you can see it. And we'll be streaming live onto the Tea Party website or on Facebook or the Tea Party page. Now, it's not. Okay, here we go. Videos. Okay, here it is. This is it right here. I love it. So let me just tap you. First of all, let me just greet you guys. See who's all in the house. We got FUP77, Raven Rain. Hello, Raven. T. Jordan, Michael Pafford. Oh man, you are yes, the gulag of Archipelago. There's a film with Kurt Russell in it. You may want to watch it. It's called Escape from New York. Although, sometimes there are people that are going to be in places where they're just going to be where they're going to be, and lessons are learned. I used to have these dreams. I'm not like a heavy born-again Christian by any stretch, but I used to have dreams about the rapture and being left behind. I don't really believe in the rapture, but for some reason I had those dreams. I was probably working out of fear. They were interesting. Let's see who. Lovely and talented Joan S. Christine Mose. There's Jennifer Fitzgerald. 10 Dragon 14. Tina Sherman. Double V. What's going on? Sandra Wells. Hello, Sandra. What's going on, cuz? Ashante Edwards. Hello, Ashante. Lisa Marie. Kurt Judkins. What's going on? There's the father of time himself, Jack Kairos. Good morning, Jack. Carrie Rose in the house. Morning. Just wow, the energy. Danica Rose. A couple of roses. Back to back. Travis Newman. Good morning, Travis. There she is. JMP. And Joe Mama. WC Ray. Natasha. Calling all my friends. There's Ryan, the introspective woodworker. You know what? I have to tell you. Ryan is not that introspective. Let me say, okay, he is introspective, but it's introverted. He's not that. I was going to say he's not that introverted, and Ryan is actually a wonderfully balanced, extroverted individual. I got introspective. He is introspective. That is for sure. He was introverted. That's what I was. Oh, look who's here. Speaking of extroverted, there he is. Last night, man, he was just getting The purple light. The purple light was like doing something in his consciousness. It was like he wanted to beam right back up to Lyra. You know, they're all cameras. You know, they're all cameras. All these cats are cameras, and they are literally reporting back to their home planet all the time. So you've got billions of cameras running around. They are the first true surveillance agents right here. Right? They just don't report. You know, I read this story one time. I think it was the Russians. They were actually like employing spy cats at one point in the. I swear to, maybe I can find it one of these days. But it was a story about how the Russians were employing. You know, I mean, think about that for a second. You know, like they had cats and dogs. Trump, by the way, no animals in the White House. I mean, if they really wanted to create the Jasper, you know what you're doing now. You're not a spy cat. You're like a terrorist. He's like a terrorist. He's like Antifa. He's just like bombing my show now. But if you wanted to create like spy animals, let's say you take your presidential cat or dog to the vet. Remember socks? You put a chip in them. And they just walk around and listen to everybody. I wonder if that's happened. I wonder if they scanned pets for chips and stuff. See, Trump has no pets. He's aware of that. He's playing 5D chess. Okay, who else do we have? There's Lils, PB, Renee. There's the mayor, Maury the mayor. Let's see, who else do we have? Miranda Couch, VV, Love Light Energetics. Nice to see you, Natalie Remington. If you think you have a spirit in your house, watch your cat. Oh, Jasper is the watcher. He's been doing that for years. Ursula, how's it? Good morning, Ursula. Ursula, I got a nice contact for you in Portland, by the way. I'm going to try to hook you up today. And I haven't forgotten about you. Ricky Ricardo, flashing that wonderful sun symbol from New Mexico. Good morning, Ricky. CC Jones, Andy McIntosh, DR, all the way from the weirdness of the UK. I'm wow. I don't have anything to say. I do have a lot to say, actually. There's a lot going on there. I have so much to say, I can't even get it out. There's my man, Mike. What's going on, Mike? Michael Taylor. Jasper, what do you say? Jasper had a tone to his stare last night. Yeah, man. That purple light was like totally tripping Jasper out. He was. What was your experience like? You want to tell people what your experience like was with the purple light? You just wanted to step right through that light. I think the purple light is the ultraviolet gateway to Lyra. Aquarius Rising. Donna is here with me in the background. Duna. Okay, Duna. Is Duna your cat? It was weird last night. I dreamed attending a business conference hosted by Robert, and Chatlandia was there. Then people were talking to me. I could comprehend what everybody was saying. Oh, good. So apparently now we're meeting offline. Apparently we're meeting in the astral, as if I'm not fucking busy enough. All right. Let's see. Who's had a cat who was definitely worth it? Absolutely. Teresa Blackburn. Hi, Teresa. Good to see you. Mark Matheny. More High Strange NFL today. Mark, I'm going to post our show. We'll do another show. I promise. It's just been. Let's see who else we have. Karen Moore says, I've got a Jasper I've had for about a year, but he's not as sweet as him. I named him Dick. You hear that? There's somebody not as sweet as you, and they're named Dick. They're named Dick. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about that? He feels. I tell you what. I'm going to have Jasper work on Dick. Okay. Do you give Jasper permission to work on Dick? If so, I will have him work on Dick, and you will see the interdimensional, the fifth dimensional magic that Jasper possesses. He's just not here in this room. He can go there, and he can help you with your dick. I'm telling you right now. So don't just let me know, and then Jasper will work magic on your dick. Okay, Judy, you're here with us. We have to say hi again to you wherever you are in the omniverse. Let's see. What else? Purple light is the gateway to Catlandia. I know, right? Catlandia. Jody is a bodhisattva. Jasper is a bodhisattva. Jasper is something else, man. I'm just telling you. He is next level dude. Like he just like last night, I didn't even turn anything on. Well, I just hit stream live and then bang, he's in the room. You were in the room, okay? So you either got to be in the co-pilot seat right there. I say go co-pilot right now. Go co-pilot. All right, there you go. He's in the co-pilot seat. This is the co-pilot seat right there. So he gets to hang out here. Right. He's the co-pilot. There we go. Looks like Maury's the only mod here today. All right, I'll keep my eyes open. I have a cat too. Was it Clow? She's not as cuddly. She's an Aries sun. I think Rosie's an Aries. Rosie is sweet, but Rosie is not always cuddly. Okay. ENC, virtual hug, not very awakened. John Christopher, a cat with a cat. I was always a dog person. I like animals, but I was always a dog person. I love dogs. But, sometimes life brings you changes. Okay, so I wanted to show you guys what we're doing tonight here, and then we're going to get into the invocation, and then I'm going to try to get you up to speed on a lot of what's happening right now. So let me do this. Let me show you what's going on, and I'm going to be streaming live on the 15 Minutes of Flame channel, so you guys are going to be able to watch this and participate in what we're doing. So this is from the Tea Party page right here on Fredericksburg. And thank you for watching. Come out and let the city know they can't trick you into believing that they are no longer gathering data on our friends and businesses. Fredericksburg is no longer a disaster. Therefore, no more mask mandates, and telling businesses how to manage their livelihoods. So this is the official video. I haven't seen the official video, but why don't I just play the official video? And that way we can both see it together. So in order for me to do that, though, I'll have to hit the audio option, which means I'll have to get out of the screen share, hit the audio option, come back to screen share so that we can all experience it together. And away we go. And I'm not hearing it for whatever reason. Okay, so there will be an opportunity for anyone who wishes to speak. Maybe there is no audio. We encourage those who want to speak directly to the City Council to register on the city website before 3 p.m. on Monday. Register from the city website's page on the citizen comment form. Please share this with your invitation to your family, friends, neighbors. Encourage them to attend the festivities. See you Monday night for We the People Merry Citizen Meetup. There we go. Let's play it again one more time. Let's watch that again so you guys can see it. So you get Crossroads. Isn't that interesting? We're going to have the place at Crossroads. The meetings at Crossroads. I love this shit. There's the cross right there. There's our lovely town square with the lovely Christmas lights. So that's what's happening. That's what's happening. We are running a parallel meeting to the city council, and we are calling it the Citizens Council. And hey, there's Steve. What's going on, Steve? And we're going to be voting. We're going to have a symbolic vote on ending the mandate. We're going to have a symbolic vote on that. So come back. I think it's going to be around 6 o'clock, if I'm not mistaken. Come back here to this channel at 6 o'clock. I'm going to be streaming this thing live. Now, I won't be commenting. I won't do that, but I'm just setting up the stream so you guys can watch it. And it may be, boring in parts. It may be funny. It may be inspirational. But the idea here is to show up. Like, this is an Aquarian event, and we're using Aquarian technology for you to tap in and be a part of the experience. And we're also going to be streaming live to the Facebook page. And it's going to me, this is it. This is what this moment, this Jupiter-Saturn conjunction is all about. We're having parallel realities taking place. Parallel realities. One reality is the old reality. It's the Saturnian reality. It is the reality of the hierarchy, the closed loop hierarchy, the reality that we are shut out of, that they have their own hermetically sealed space, and that they are controlling through cyberspace. I mean, they are really representing Klaus Schwab, the fourth industrial revolution. They are representing that reset. It is a virtual world in which they are the literally masters of that domain. And the only way that you can enter into their world is by joining them in cyberspace, by joining them in the virtual. We are presenting a parallel reality where it will be physical in nature. Yes, we will be using technology. Yes, we'll be reaching out to people. In our reality, we have analog and digital. In their reality, it's just digital. Okay. So this is how this thing is setting up. And it's really, I'm totally psyched about it. I hope you can be on this channel, 6 p.m. tonight, where we will be streaming live. And of course, if you, it's going to be on Facebook. So at least two streams. And then the stream will be captured. And then, so it'll be great. And we have a few surprises in store along the way. So I'm going to get into the UK thing, the European thing. I'm going to talk about it. It's a really big deal. And so we're all connected, and everything is connected. And even though I can't get on a jet or teleport or do anything to help people like yourself, Ralph, and a lot of other people in the UK, what we can do is we can do this, and we can do what we can do tonight, and perhaps it will set a trigger effect, a butterfly effect in motion, and that we can have an influence in a different kind of way, in an indirect way. And I wish I could do more. And I've been wanting this for a long time, to see what was going on in Australia and how people were being ganged up on and threatened and pulled off the streets. I mean, boils my blood. But hopefully, by shifting the energetics and presenting something new and charging that new thing, it will have a ripple effect. The butterfly effect. A butterfly flaps its wings in Asia, and then there's a massive storm in Africa. That's sort of chaos theory in action. So let's hold that space, and we'll talk about the UK stuff. We got to go there. It's not just the UK, by the way. Okay. I've got some mountain sage for new beginnings to add to the fire. Michael R is here. What's going on, Michael? I wish Little Rock would do that. More masks than ever. Does no one see the correlation between mask wearing and cases going up? The masks are creating viral pneumonia. Hello. There's Justice Moody. What's going on, Justice? Good to see you. All right. Good. I'm glad you're going to be here tonight, Ashante. Pam Jerome. Hello, Pam. Yep. So just be around the energy, right? And it's all coming together, right? It's just all it's all happening. Will there be bumps? Will there be hiccups? Of course. It's Aquarius. There's always the unforeseen. There's always wild. Hold my son. Hold on. Hey man, how's it going? So can you meet Graham for dinner at 4 p.m.? I can't make it because something's come up, but she will meet you there. You'll be there, and you two can dine together. And then the plan would be like for me to come get you on the 26th and then bring you out here like we talked about. Is that cool? All right, good. You're all right? Well, we can commiserate. I lost yesterday too. Yeah. Well, we'll have a lot to talk about. Okay. What? How many points? Yeah, I don't think Eric Ebron's going to get you 50 points. You didn't start Tanyan? Okay. All right, man. I love you, and have fun with Graham. Okay. Bye. So we're having to make a few adjustments here on the fly. That was the kid. I decided to make it a private conversation. I had to talk to him. So, but the interesting thing about about this event is, again, there's going to be quirks and bumps and hiccups. But the interesting thing about this event, and I talked about it last night, is just how it's coming together. Like, we didn't say, 6 months ago, okay, we're going to meet on the 21st because we want to do something different than the city council. So let's put that in the books and we'll find a place and we'll get it all together. Like, that didn't happen. Like, this has all really just happened in the last 72 hours. And this is the energy of Aquarius. Like, it's fast and it's kind of in the now. And if you can make adjustments and course corrections with a very strong energetic fixed cycle, then you can kind of understand or get where this is going. It is an assemblage of pieces and parts that in many ways are quite desperate. Like, I'm planning this. I'm not even planning it. I'm a part of it. They're asking me how to do certain things, like with streaming and stuff, which they're not really, that dialed in with. And these people are very, at least belief system wise, they're like different than me. I mean, these people are they're really kind. They're good people. The majority of them are Christians and God loving and God fearing people. And that includes Catholics, and I'm the neighborhood astrologer, right? So again, but this is part of this idea of the Aquarian age, or this age that we're entering into, where it's really about the spirit, right? It is about the spirit, because there'd be people who, I'm sure, and it's really funny because we were at this vaccine. Texans for informed vaccine choice meeting 2 weeks ago, and there was a couple there from Bernie, and they asked me what I did. And it's always an interesting ask here in Texas. So I just said, I'm an astrologer. I'm not one of the guys with the telescopes. That's not what I do. And you should have seen how fast that conversation ended. Like, the woman, like, she, had a polite few moments, and then, well, Exit stage left, right? So there are people who would think, in this town, and even like this group that I'm with, that like I would be like, working with the devil or something like that. But here we are together, right? And I don't care. I don't care what their religion is, as long as we're all working together and we're coming from a really good spirit. I mean, isn't that what it's about? It's what it's always been about for me. Back when I was reading tarot cards, and I went around the country, and I wound up in Atlanta at the Olympics. And the first day that I was there, I was trying to find a place to read tarot cards. I've told this story before. It was hard because you had to find your spot. The old Carlos Castaneda thing. You had to find your spot. So I wound up in a park in downtown Atlanta, and there was a guy from the Bay Area who had a little soup kitchen called Bombs Not Food, and I knew him from the Bay Area, and he was there. He was actually doing soup at the Olympics. So I walked up and I got some soup, and I sat and was laying down, had my dog, and had my tarot deck, and I'm futzing around with the cards and playing with the cards. And all of a sudden, this girl comes up, teenage girl comes up to me, goes, "Ooh, what are those?" And I'm like, "Well, they're tarot cards." Well, what do they do? Well, they kind of give you, a sense of like patterns and things like that. She said, "Oh, wow, interesting." She took off. She came back with about 15 other teens. Now, in the first few days of the Olympics, there were thousands of teens evangelizing and witnessing for Christ at the Olympics. And she was one of those groups. So she brought over about 11 or 12 disciples, and they all sat down with me. And of course, there was kind of the lead dog, and he was asking me about them and telling me that they're false idols. And he was trying to lecture me on the fact that, there are these, that I was commiserating with the devil. And I'm like, well, you can have that opinion. That's your opinion. That's not how I interpret or work with this, but you're welcome to your opinion. And they're like, well, we found one. Like I was a big cat. I was like the Moby Dick of the day, the guy with the tarot cards. So anyway, just I wasn't there to argue or debate and tell him that his religion was stupid or anything, because I don't really do that. Although sometimes I think certain aspects of many religions are stupid, but I don't do that. So eventually they left. But then about 2 or 3 minutes later, a different kid comes back, and he decides that he wants to pray for me. So he started praying for me, and I grabbed his hand. Right, I grabbed his hand. I'm like, come on, I'll pray with you, It's like, I'll pray with you. And you're probably praying for my soul and everything. Whatever you're praying for, I'm gonna do it with you, in your spirit, in the spirit of your spirit, the spirit that your spirit is in, I'm gonna pray with you. Right. And then he left. So it wasn't like it was like, get out of here. It's like, why? I'll just go with it. I'll go with it. So I'm sure that that kid was like a rock star. I bet he was like a rock star when he got back to the group. And say, he's like, I had the Holy Spirit moved me to go pray with him. I heard the voice, and I went back and I started praying for him. And he grabbed my hand. He prayed with me. And I didn't do that to like mess with him. I did it because, like, that's his. I wanted to be in on that vibe with him. Right? It's like, man, if you're gonna pray, I want to be a part of that. Whatever, and you're young and you're earnest and you're innocent. So, I want to join with you. Like this was a moment of fellowship for me with him in my own way. But I know that he went back and he was probably getting high fives and hugs. I bet that was a really good day in that kid's life. Not that I wanted to make it a good day. It's just the way it probably worked out. So I've never been opposed in that sense to side of Christianity, just because I do what I do. And I would have Christians that would not want to be on my show. Like I remember one time, this guy written, this is a long time ago on Blog Talk Radio. This guy written a really interesting book. And I'm like, man, I want this dude on my show. And then he found out that, I was an astrologer, and he bailed on me. He bailed on me. And I got him to basically admit that it was because of my line of work, right? And that's the one thing I will always, always, always credit E. Michael Jones with. E. Michael Jones knows what I do, and he's been on my show 3 times. And he's put my videos on his YouTube page 3 times. And the last time he put it on his YouTube page, which is no longer there, by the way, people were really excited, and they were going to subscribe to my YouTube channel, but then they found out that, that I work with astrology, and then there was like I was of the devil and all that shit. But Michael didn't care. Michael gets it. And he's talking about logos. And logos is the big deal. It is the force, and it has its own level of consciousness and application, and any kind of rules or dogma are really tertiary to the fulfillment of logos. Michael gets it, but that's cool because we're in this time together, and we're going to need each other. And it's not just Christians. There are other people of other faiths that can transcend the dogma, or transcend the judgment, or transcend the communal guidelines, or the orthodox guidelines of their religion and faith, to build bridges and make bonds with others, because this is an important time to do that. Aquarius is unorthodox. It is really unorthodox. I used to listen a lot to a band called Mute Math, who are from the South, and they're tremendous. I remember the first time I discovered them, it was like, wow, these guys are incredible. And they were kind of in this born again Christian rock territory. Although when you listen to their songs, you can hear references, but it's not like, Michael W. Smith or something like that. It's not even close. And these guys are just mind blowing. And the energy that they played with, it was like the early Mute Math shows they were like freaking electric revivals. They were incredible, really incredible. So I really got into them. And I told the story before. I wanted to get them to this music festival called Health and Harmony, which is in Santa Rosa. And I knew the guys that ran that festival and booked the artists. And I really wanted them to get Mute Math. I'm like, you get this band and you will have a coup. You will be able to, their performance will be legendary. People will talk about this for months, maybe years to come. They'll say, oh yeah, remember when Mute Math was at Health and Harmony? So they went in and they looked at Health and Harmony, and I started to look at Mute Math, and they said no. They said no, and I think primarily, and this is the message I got, was because they were quote unquote Christians. And I ain't gonna lie, and I did business with these guys, and I like these guys, and they're pretty cool to me. But the people mostly that ran the entertainment and music side of Health and Harmony were Jewish. They're Jewish. So I don't know what the thing was, but they weren't into them. They were into, though, the Rastafarians. Like, that was okay. Because the Rastafarians are, they're very Old Testament-y. So they could have like something connected to Christianity, but it was more kind of Old Testament Rastafari. They had no problem with the Rastafarians in reggae. But and I'm not sure if it was their own predisposition or whether they were projecting like how the community would feel about it. You know what I mean? Like I'm not sure that they made it over to say these are Christians and we don't promote Christians. I'm not saying that was the case, but there certainly was a judgment. There was a judgment involved. No, we're not going to have them. And I've seen Mute Math 3 times, 4 times, and my kid's first rock show first legitimate rock show, I took him to Mute Math because we used to listen to them all the time on my car stereo. So this is where we are right now. And when I would listen to their music would really fill me with this really electric spirit and get really inspired and charged. And and when we go to the concert, we'd go to the concerts and there would be people who were definitely Christians at the show, and they'd be having their Christian moments. And of course, that was back when I was drinking, so I was a little lubricated. I was a fish amongst the fishes. Let's put it that way. All right, let's get going here. Dear blessed and holy Mother, Father God of the great central Sun, which is the universal light, which is life, Yeshua, Sananda, Emmanuel, we ask that only the highest and best information, wisdom, knowledge, and truth come through this channel at this time. And that we affirm and decree that we are in the nexus point of our own beginning. We're in the nexus point of our own end. We're in the nexus point of the now, where all things are possible, where all things are eternal, where all things are ephemeral, and where all things are available to each and every one of us in the pure democratic spirit, the pure democratic spirit of the cosmic pulse, which moves through within each and every one of us. And let us never forget this, especially during the darkest hours and the darkest times, during the darkest month and the darkest night of the year. Let the inner light, the cosmic light, the celestial light, the Christ light, the light of the Most High reverberate, pulse, and shine through each and every one of us, so that we will remember who we are, each and every one of us, from the central core of our being, and celebrate and assist and be a part of a fellowship that allows others to remember who they are as well, as we give birth to this new time of no time, of now time. And in the spirit of patience and flexibility and compassion and courage and intelligence, empathy, compassion, humor, and above all love, we decree it. If there's any karmic residue, let it be cleansed, purified, clarified, and removed from this stream. Okay, let's get going. A lot to talk about on just what's happening right now. Let's go over like the big ticket items. The big ticket items. I don't even know where to start. Why don't we start with the UK? All right. We have. Oh wow, there is some shit going on right now. Holy smokes. All right. Okay, this is interesting. Okay, here we go. Let me see what's going on here. Give me 1 second. All right. This should be a canary in the coal mine moment right here. So a number of you might be trading crypto on Binance. So Binance is down. Now, it could be temporary, okay? Could be temporary. Fellow Binanceans, Binance is undergoing temporary system maintenance. Binance has suspended deposits, withdrawals, spot and margin trading, P2P trading, OTC portal trading, savings and redemption, as well as asset transfer sub-accounts. This is Aquarian stuff, people. Right here, right? The cryptos and the blockchain are all Aquarian. Now, this could be maintenance. Maybe they're trying to prevent a hack, but it's happening right now. So trading on Binance futures will continue unaffected during the maintenance period. Please rest assured that all users' funds are safe. You'll be notified once the system is complete. Users will have 30 minutes to cancel orders, make deposits, and withdrawals. So I'm not saying that this is a sign of things to come. but I'm also saying that's not a, a, a sign of things to come, right? So you got to be aware and just kind of, if this is important. This is important because they're bringing this up, and maybe it's just maintenance, and maybe they just want to fortify this thing. But if you are somebody who has your crypto or your Bitcoin or you're trading through Binance, I would be somewhat concerned. I'd be concerned, number one, as to maybe why they went into the maintenance mode, or number two, if it really is indeed maintenance mode. That would be my concern. I would try to drop the fear level down, breathe through it, right? And just see, hang in there and see what happens. But pay attention. And apparently there was something going on with Coinbase yesterday too. Now, what's going to happen is because of what's happening in England, which is devastating. It is really devastating. Essentially, they have cut England, remember, is an island. God, it is an island. And they have cut off boats. And I believe the channel has stopped going to England. Like, England is like locked down and isolated. And there are business and commercial ramifications for this. And it's not just England. Turkey has closed its borders, shut down. They're not letting anybody in. Saudi Arabia. So now we're seeing the lights go out. I mean, think about this now. Like, if you can't get into a country, it's almost as if the lights are going out in that country. And that will have a ripple effect on the markets. I guarantee you. It will have a ripple effect. And they can only prop up the markets so much with their algorithmic steroids. It will have an impact on the markets. So not only are we dealing, and you poor folks over in the UK, and by the way, this thing, they want to bring this thing planetary. Like, this is it. They want to shut everything down, shut the countries down, shut the markets down. Like, they want to flip the switch. This is kind of where we're at right now. You can see it. They want to flip the switch. They are accelerating their program so that there can be a collapse. Now, what's going to happen is that people will exacerbate the collapse because they're going to see what's happening. And you're going to see people dumping their stocks. Watch the market. They can only keep the market pumped up algorithmically for so long. Watch the market. Watch what happens with banks. People are going to start to pull their money out or try to pull their money out. There could be a bank run. We might be dealing with issues around ATMs, getting deposits out. You really should have some cash on hand. Like, that's a given. What if it's worth anything at a certain point? That's a whole other story. But let's just say it will be. You do need to have some cash on hand. So here we go now. We are in the ripple effect of what's happening with the lockdowns. So it's not just the fact that you won't be able to travel amongst one another or even leave the island of Great Britain, where people from Wales and Scotland and England are, right? You're not going to be able to do that unless you have high clearance. Of course, you'll be able to. But again, it's going to have this ripple effect, a planetary ripple effect. And of course, it's the crown, right? It's the crown. This is the crown virus, the coronavirus. And so the edict came down from the crown that we are going to lock down. We're not going to let anybody in. We're not going to let anybody out. The dominoes are beginning to fall here. So we are in, I would say, a very, very strong 72-hour crisis zone in terms of what happens over the next 3 days, especially if the financial sector is going to be hit. And that announcement with Binance is certainly alarming. It is alarming. Now, if I had $50,000, worth of cryptos in Binance, or 100,000, I'd be, a little pensive. I would do my best to not let it get to me, but I'd be a little pensive. Because you know what's going to happen is that once Binance opens back up, you think people are going to just sit around and go, okay, they're open for business now? No, they're not. They're going to move their shit around. They're going to move their shit around. So Binance is going to have to like figure out like how that's going to work, how they're going to process everything. So this is a really, really tricky time in that regard. And this is where it gets into this idea that we're all connected. Like this is a unfortunate dark manifestation of the Aquarian spirit, and that this is the Saturnian version of the Aquarian spirit. So we're all connected in that way. So there you go. There's the latest on the Binance front. They had their automated Bitcoin withdrawal system offline yesterday. So there you go. You could not get out of Bitcoin yesterday on Binance. I don't know what's going on. Okay, now somebody said it's fine for me now. So maybe it's back online. Maybe it's back online. So we'll see what happens. But that definitely is, kind of a canary in the coal mine moment. Not to panic, obviously, but to pay attention. There's a lot more going on. We got a volcano going off in Kilauea. Have you seen that? That's happening. Oh, look at this. Here we go. Here we go. When is this? Is this today? Is this today? Hold on. This is today. Okay, check this out, right? What were we talking about last night on the show? What were we talking about last night on the show? Let me show you guys this. Hold on. All right. Remember I was talking about the flood? Do you remember I was talking about the flood and how Aquarius, the water bearer, empties its contents? Let me show you this. And you know what? I just got rid of somebody. That felt good. There we go. That felt really good. I feel really good getting rid of somebody. I got rid of him twice. So it looks like I have no money anyway. You know what? It is what it is. The Beatles said, all you need is love. Yes, here we go. Let me show you. This is from Spain. Let me show you what's going on. This is from Spain. It's about a 30-second video. Check it out.
Aquí ara mateix plou una micona i la Rambla de Sant Jordi de Ripollet és una puta riera. Res més, salutació.
¿Han cortado la línea?
Madre mía, ¿cómo se han metido ahí?
The water bearer is emptying its contents. The city, I believe, is called Monte Carlo, if I'm not mistaken. I'll verify that. Give me 1 second. Monte Carlo in Valencia. Monte Carlo. Says Valencia has a dried up riverbed running through it, which is used as a park. Well, there you go. But it's happening during this time when the water bearer is emptying its contents, literally and figuratively, onto the rest of the planet. apparently there's also stuff going on in Venezuela with rain as well. Let me see if I can find this. Let me see. The rain in Spain falls mainly on the plain. The rain in Spain was seeded by an airplane. Ain't that the truth? Oh, there's floods in Brazil. I think that happens a lot. But anyway, there we go. It's on the 21st. And we can see the symbolic unleashing or the releasing of the contents. The contents have been filled in the urn in the arrival of the water bearer. Let's see. What else do we have going on here in a huge way? So the statue of Robert E. Lee was removed overnight. Pope Francis is going to take a vaccine shot. Oh, isn't that nice? The intel coming out of the UK is that there will be no pubs until March. That's just going to ruin pub owners. That's going to absolutely ruin pub owners. Man. And the pub is such a central part of the culture in the UK. So you can still buy booze, but you won't be able to go to pubs. The pubs are the meeting place. The pubs where people get together. They're a huge part of the social fabric of England. Huge part. Here's somebody from England. They're saying, trying to keep our local pub open. They're still selling pub grub like a takeaway. Oh, okay, maybe they're not the pub owners. And all the locals are supporting them. They do not want us meeting to discuss a plan on a community level. Absolutely. Pubs originated by sharing brewery booze and a rota at each other's houses, called a public house. If you have a good local, speak to the landlord to see what the community can do to keep them open. You'll never keep the UK down when it comes to our boozers. That's true. So this is serious, right? And you think that, like, pubs aren't serious, but it's an important part of the culture. It's a very important part of the culture there. And not only that, but it's going to ruin people. They're going to take away their livelihood in a time where their livelihood is hanging by a thread. The world is a stage, and we are roles in a play. Mm-hmm. Well, some people are moles in a play. So their role is to be a mole. Their role is to be a mole. And there are many moles amongst us. What else is going on? I'm just trying to grab headlines so that you guys can kind of get a sense as to what's going on here. Let's see what else we have. I'm just trying to grab the data that's breaking around the Great Conjunction. Here we go. Here's the info around Kilauea. And of course, Uranus is moving into square. We started to talk about this last night. This is from Twitter. I'll give you guys a visual. Maybe some of you in Hawaii can confirm this. Right here. So video from the rim of the caldera just before midnight as of December 21st at 1:30 a.m. The growing lava lake has almost reached the level of the lowest down drop block that formed during the 2018 collapse events. That's when Uranus went into Taurus, by the way. Right? There it is. So now we have physical Uranian eruption, right? From the Earth, Taurus. We have disruption on the other side of this with the 8th house, Binance, Scorpio, other people's money. So this is interesting. So the fixed elements are coming into play here. it's not just the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction. Now, this is what happened last night. The statue of Confederate General Robert E. Lee removed from U.S. Capitol. On Monday, Virginia Governor Ralph Blackface announced that the statue of Robert E. Lee was removed from the U.S. Capitol on Sunday night. A statue which will be relocated to the Virginia Museum of History and Culture has been at the Capitol for 111 years. A state commission recommended a statue of civil rights activist Barbara Rose Jones as the replacement. So the removal of statuary still in effect and happening just before the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction, which is kind of interesting from an astrological standpoint, because Robert E. Lee, who was a Mason, by the way, I'm pretty sure he's a Mason. Robert E. Lee represents like this idea of Leo, this idea of, the figurehead, the general, and he's being removed. He's being removed in favor of a civil rights activist, which is a group, right? So we're seeing more Jupiter-Saturn conjunction energy. And this thing's going to go both ways, right? It's going to go both ways. So there's this emergent reality that's trying to take shape and manifest itself, and it's going to be moving in a lot of different ways, in a lot of different directions. And some of it will be interesting and cool and good, and others will be weird, and you'll see it. It's almost like there's like a conflict between emergent realities going on right now. That's what it feels like. A conflict between these two emergent realities. And some of that conflict, I think, manifests in people that are trying to move these realities along, but maybe that conflict is something that's more quantum or energetic and more multidimensional. And this is what we're seeing right now. And it gets manifested, of course, through the actions, these misactions of so-called humans. All right, so there you go. There's the Kilauea and Robert E. Lee stuff that's happening. Now, apparently, there are people from the UK that are leaving, and they are showing up in places like Australia and Germany, and they've detected a coronavirus mutation. I don't know how they're able to detect the coronavirus mutation. And keep in mind that every year the flu mutates. Now, I'm not saying that there isn't a there there. There certainly is a there there, but the flu mutates every year. They come up with a vaccine for the flu, but it's always based on last year's version of whatever it is, and then they create the vaccine, and guess what? It doesn't work. So people are showing up. They're running the PCR at about 45 to 50 cycles. They're going to pick something up, and maybe, just maybe, what they're picking up is a mutated version of the flu. They still have not theoretically even isolated the coronavirus. They have not isolated that. You ask them, well, show me how you've isolated. Yeah. Now, there are some people say, well, they've taken these strands of HIV and bolted them in, and they created this chimera, right? But the medical people, theoretically, the medical people who are there to present their case for coronavirus, they haven't said that we've isolated it. And that's the truth. Now, maybe some alternate researchers have, but that's different. That's different. There's a lot more going on with what's happening energetically. Oh, the Pope is such a fucking... The Pope says aborted fetus tissue in vaccine is moral. I can't believe this clown. I cannot believe this clown. And Newsmax... I would stay away from Newsmax. I don't watch Newsmax. I never liked Newsmax. But here we have Newsmax promoting the Pope's stance on vaccines. You know what's interesting is they're not... Here, let's read this. Vatican told Roman Catholics on Monday that it was morally acceptable to use COVID-19 vaccines, even if their production employed from cell lines drawn from tissues of aborted fetuses. Now, if you're a Catholic, I mean, come on, wrap your head around that. A note from the Vatican's doctrinal congregation, the Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith, said the use of such vaccines was permitted as long as there were no alternatives. Okay. Wonder how E. Michael Jones feels about this. I should get him on. And talk to him about this. Both the Pfizer Inc. and Moderna Inc. vaccines have some connection to cell lines that originated with tissue from abortions in the last century. Oh, really? The last century? To the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops, which issued a separate note to American Catholics last week. The Vatican note said the granting of moral legitimacy was related to the principle differing degrees of responsibility of cooperation and evil, whatever the fuck that means. This meant that because the pandemic is such a grave danger, such vaccines can be used in good conscience with a certain knowledge that it does not constitute formal cooperation with the abortion form, which the cell used in the production of vaccine derive. So they are absolving the act of wherever you are on the abortion thing. I'm just coming at this from the Catholic perspective. They're absolving the act of murdering a fetus, a child. They're absolving. It's okay. It's for the greater good. It's for the greater good. The American bishop said the vaccines that place cell lines drawn in the absence of safe vaccines made from other sources morally acceptable to receive COVID-19 vaccines that have used cell lines from aborted fetuses and recent production process. The American bishop said the vaccines employed cell lines drawn from tissue obtained from 2 abortions that took place in the 1960s and 1970s, and that have often, I mean, even if they've been often replicated since, does it make it morally right, just, and true? And think about the replication process. My God. It urged the pharmaceutical industry to develop completely ethical vaccines, and governments and international organizations make them accessible to poorer nations. You guys are just off your freaking rocker. The Vatican note said that while the use of vaccines was voluntary, the common good may recommend vaccination, especially to protect the weakest and most exposed. Now, Newsmax doesn't chime in and say, we find this to be morally reprehensible, or, but you know, if this was a CNN story, they'd have a second source that would come in and they would refute what this other source said. So maybe Newsmax might actually have a conversation with like Bishop Vigano. Bishop Vigano's official stance on the use of aborted fetal cells in vaccines is, and then bang, you know what that guy would have to say. So Newsmax is essentially providing the Pope with a platform. The Pope is not saying don't get the vaccine. Like, wouldn't that be the strongest position of the Pope? To say, no, we don't get the vaccine. They're using aborted fetal cells. Like, morally, spiritually, it's corrupt and reprehensible, and denigrates the Spirit of God, violates the Spirit of God. The violation is in the freaking vaccine. It is in the vaccine. You are injecting the violation, the absolute desecration and violation is being injected into your body. And there's no moral stance around this. Oh, it's okay. There's the greater good. That's the world we're living in. But they don't want the Pope to take that stance. They don't want any church leader to take that stance at all. In fact, most church leaders are instructed to tell their people to get the vaccine. They've already had these meetings. Right? They've already had these meetings. Let's see. My small house looking a supporter. The Pope light will be gone soon. He's a Sagittarius. He's got an interesting background, by the way, in Argentina. He has some interesting supporters. Let's put it that way. Let's see. It's like cannibalism via syringe. Yeah. Well put. Well put. What a Mimi. Rosemary's Baby. Yeah. So maybe later in the week, I'll get into. I'll be broadcasting this week, by the way. Maybe later in the week, I'll get into the real Frankensteinian potential of these vaccines, but not today. Today's a different kind of day. Today's a different day. Forget about the Pope. If he is Sag, I'm changing signs. He is a Sag. Mm-hmm. No, you just be a better Pope than the Pope. Just be a better Pope than the Pope. Don't change signs. Your sign is fine. Everybody's sign is fine. Trust me. I'm a Virgo, and I've had to learn how to love it. The Pope is an outspoken communist. He's more than just an outspoken communist. Let me tell you, he is that. He is that. The Pope is here to be a bridge and usher in the new world order and convert the last vestiges of Catholicism into a new world religion. Did you see the nativity scene? What are those? A man's with hooks for hands is a better Pope than the Pope. Did you see the Vatican's nativity scene? Have you guys checked this out? This is totally bizarre. The Vatican's nativity scene is supposed to be a sign of hope during the pandemic. So there's the Vatican's nativity scene. Like, what is going on here? There's Pisces. You see Pisces? Right? The sign of Pisces is embedded right here. There's a little astrotheology for you. Oh, is this the little baby Jesus bot? I mean, these things look like they're transistors or imprinted into a computer board. This is so bizarre. So bizarre. There's also some we got the three wise men here. Is that we got? There's one. Is that Joseph? I don't even know where the three. Maybe that's Joseph. Maybe that's Mary. Maybe that's anyway. There's some people that think that this is connected to the like the Sumerian astronaut, right? Like this depiction is almost like a being from the Sumerian mythology. Like this is a depiction of an ancient astronaut. It's really bizarre. Totally bizarre. But clearly they're signaling, they're having their astrological and astro-theological brand and moment, Pisces. Like this is the beginning of the age of Pisces. And here we have Taurus, the bull. And it looks like, what do we got here? Is this a goat? The bull and the goat. Looks like it's a goat, doesn't it? So the bull and the goat, we have Capricorn, and then we have Taurus, and then we have Pisces in the center. We have our little trinity there, theoretically. I do not know what's going on over here. But this is like almost straight out of a sci-fi film. And what the hell is this? I mean, is this supposed to be the baby Jesus? Well, first of all, baby Jesus is blonde. Probably got that wrong. Really, I'm serious. Probably got that pretty wrong. But hey, we'll just roll with it. But even so, there's no, I mean, it's weird, right? There's no feet, bound up. So strange. Very strange. There's your nativity scene from the Vatican this year, looking very otherworldly, very extraterrestrially. Let's see. What do we have? What's going on with the Crimmies? Chris Grandy's having a C-section today, right at the time of the conjunction. Wow. How about that? Please offer some good thoughts for her and her mom, who shows up once. Oh, wow. Holy smokes. All right. That's a big moment. All right. Full speed ahead. We have this is interesting, right? We have a birth. We have a birth coming through Chatlandia on the super conjunction. That is so cool. Let us know how it goes. Chris and Steve. Lego Mary. Postmodern communists are demoralizing. Yeah, it really is. Right? It's a mockery of traditional Christianity. They're destroying Christmas. Yep. But they're signaling. Did you see the symbol of Pisces? They're certainly signaling like that was the beginning of the Piscean age. But they're bringing it to a close now, for sure. Absolutely. Christmas is just Yule with a new paint job. Well, Christmas, I mean, if you want to go back and really deconstruct this thing, and maybe we could do this, Christmas is really a celebration of Nimrod. This is what Christmas is. It is a celebration of Nimrod through his son, Cush, who is also his brother. I mean, there's a whole lot of high strange. So Cush is the resurrection, because Nimrod, who dies, says, I will be back. I will return. And the return is theoretically the birth of Cush, which would be the reincarnation of Nimrod through Cush. And we could talk about that maybe later in the week. What's interesting is there are these like towers. So I'll show you one. To me, this is really fascinating. I'll show you. So here we have this, and this is a European tradition, and I think it's German, but I want to show you because I think it's kind of interesting, in that they always erect like this tower, right? Why do they have this tower? And I know that it comes from Germany or the tradition, but it is a tower. And it is in the center of the market plots. And what do we associate Nimrod with? We associate Nimrod with the tower. And there it is, right? It is cordoned off. It is the axis mundi of everything going on inside the market plots. And it's very quaint. And they have these, it's like these little carousels that move around, and they have characters, and they look very quaint and very European. Of course, we have the lights and the illumination. We have the windmill at the top. But this is a tower, right? This is the centerpiece of their Christmas celebration. And what is Nimrod known for? Nimrod is known for his tower. There you go. It's right there, right? It is the tower. and they're telling you what Christmas is about, even though they don't know. But they just pass a tradition down, right? God, you just got knocked into hyperspace. Good. Good. The holiday was celebrated with the sacrifice at the Temple of Saturn, public banquet followed by private gift giving, continual partying in a carnival atmosphere. Well, that's Saturnalia, right? Saturnalia is part of it, but it goes back even before that. It goes all the way back. Like it goes back to Nimrod and Babylon and Cush. And there's even like connections with mistletoe that are connected with Cush and Semiramis and Nimrod. The Christmas tree plays a role. The whole thing, even pre-Saturnalia, comes out of that. So this is part of the Great Deception, and a lot of Christian theologians will tell you that. Like pure Christian theologians will tell you that Christmas is the Great Deception, that it is not the time of the birth of the baby Jesus. And I actually agree with them, by the way. But we're going to celebrate it because it is the darkest night of the year, and in the Western Hemisphere. By the way, you people in the Southern Hemisphere, enjoy your longest day of the year. Party on your Midsummer Night's Dream. But I celebrate it in this time where there's this return of the light incrementally, day by day by day by day by day. Right. So there's that. I do believe that the historical figure was born in September, and I do believe that the September date is debatable. Some people say it's like the 15th of December. I think it's really the 11th of September, the 15th of September. I think it's the 11th of September. That I believe that is a historical date, not the 24th, not the 24th of December. So that's part of the theoretical Christian deception or the Catholic deception. But hey, whatever. It's all good. It's all good. Get into the energy. But you saw the tower, right? It was right there. They're telling you. They're telling you exactly what it's about and why they're celebrating it. Okay. And how, to a certain extent. Let's see. Bill Barr opened his big fat ass mouth already. Says no reason to take domino voting machines, Dominion voting machines. But just, why is he here? Get out. Leave. See you later. Sayonara. Adios. They've already found that the machines they got from Antrim County in Michigan, like way off. They've got the goods on this stuff. They totally have the goods on the election. They got it. They got it. They got it. Now, what Trump does with it, it's going to be more and more chaos. More chaos. All right. Let's do a little more UK news here. Since we are focusing on the UK, we're good friends over in England. Again, I'm scraping today because I want to, here it is right here. Right here. Oh, God. I fucking mail online. All right. I have to I have to get that onto a new browser. Give me 1 second. Yes, I'm a heretic. I use ad blockers as often as possible. Okay, here you go. Unions demand online learning. Oh, geez. Until January 18, so teachers can get COVID vaccine. As number 10 dismisses SAGE, experts plan to give secondary school pupils the jab in bid to stop new strain spreading. There's no evidence that there's a new fucking strain. Sorry. No evidence. None. Britain's largest teaching union has today demanded classes be moved online for 2 weeks after Christmas to give school staff the chance to get vaccinated against COVID-19. It's actually kind of a funny shirt. What is this? The first virtual lover game? Virtual mate? Oh, please. I don't want to see that. I like the cat shirt better. Where'd the cat shirt go? Anyway, all right. The National Education Union, NOI, named after that famous krautrock band, has called on the government to cancel face-to-face lessons for a fortnight at the beginning of the new term, with online learning to continue until January 18. Union chiefs say the switch to online lessons for all but vulnerable children and those key workers will help reduce cases amongst students. Really? Really? So it's supposed to be reducing cases amongst students. But then we're being told by our leaders that even after we get the vaccine, we'll still have to wear the masks. We'll still have to be shut down. We'll still have to practice social distancing. But get that vaccine. It's really important. Really important. Okay. Let's see. Actually, if we could strap luxury French goods to the Iranian boat people, that would be a happy medium. Ship with some Hermes. What happened to flatten the curve? Yeah, flatten the curve was flatten the people. That's what flatten the curve was about. It was about flattening the people. So we were trying to save the ignorant from themselves. You can only do so much. You can only do so much. Every now and then, you could throw a line to a drowning person, and they'll take it. Sometimes, if you throw a line to a drowning person, they may just pull you right in. You have to use your discretion around that. You know, and maybe this is what this is about. Maybe this is where we really get separated out. It's the vaccine that will wind up separating us out, which is unfortunate. You know, it can be really unfortunate. But again, there are some things that there are some things we just cannot control. And there's a positive application of that. And then there's the theoretical, and I say theoretical, negative piece with that. Because sometimes that things that look negative can actually be positive. And sometimes things that are positive can sometimes wind up being, well, theoretically negative, right? I mean, it's very difficult in the moment to understand and know the long-term effects of something and how it's going to unfold and play out. In certain cases. In some cases, negative is negative and positive, positive. And we just know that, right? We have an understanding of that. But the long-term effects of some of these things from a really high perspective, like, you know, from the idea of the mind of God, it's really hard to determine sometimes based upon our theoretical limited perception. You know? So we're going to find out, won't we? We're definitely going to find out. Congress talking about $600 checks. Well, you got to give me a break. Really? A $600 fucking check. A $600 check. Why don't they just put 2 sixes after it? A $666 check. Why don't they just do that? Like a $600 check is, you know what that's like? That's like one person pissing on a raging wildfire and hoping to put it out. That's what that's like. Who knows? Maybe you could get that $600 check and buy $600 worth of lottery tickets, and then you can increase your $600, value. I don't know. I wouldn't do that. but it's ridiculous. And I'm not for giving people a shit ton of money. But if Amazon and all these clowns that are associated with people in Washington, D.C., and their lobbies and their businesses and the businesses of their family get literally billions of dollars in bailout money, then the average Joe theoretically should get some of that. But that's not what they want. They want to run this thing right into the ground so that they can have the reset. They want to crash everything so that they can have the reset and say, these are the new terms and conditions that you are going to live by. So there's a reason why they're throwing you a few crumbs. Meanwhile, they're hosting massive, gluttonous, overindulgent, Romanesque banquets for their partners in the New Deal, which is the Fourth Industrial Revolution. Let's see what else we have here. 2 weeks of food. 2 weeks of food. If you got 2 weeks of food, you better know about 20 other people that have 2 weeks of food. And then you can all pool your 2 weeks of food together. Let's see. Going to clean the mirrors on my Schmidt Casgrain. Good. Go at it. You know what's really interesting? $600. Oh, right. Yes, absolutely. 2 weeks of food. That's about right. Depends on what you get, though. Depends on what you get. I mean, $600 if you get the right food, that can last you a while. You know, if you get a lot of beans and rice, and I'm not a big bean guy or a big rice guy, but you got beans and rice and a few other things that can last you, $600 could be a decent amount of like prep food if that's what you wanted to buy it for. So yes, thanks for clarifying that. So Google is in on what is this now? Where is this? Oh, I got. Oh, go away! Come on. Hate this shit. Because so apparently the Vatican also hires local artists. This is what I wanted to show you guys. This is also, I think this was also part of the nativity scene. Okay, so, all right, let me see. Hold on. Okay, so it was only like one aspect of this thing. All right. So I got to show you the video. Let me show you because this is what I was actually looking for. This is where it gets really weird because that was only one aspect. It's interesting because that was the one frame set that the Catholic website actually depicted. There is more to it than that. Check this out. All right, let me get this thing going. All right, let me start over. Look, we got ancient astronauts. There we go. There's the Pisces. But look over here. Well, there's the wise men. Now here we have our ancient astronaut coming in. And oh yeah, remember this guy from the nativity scene? I sure do. That looks like Zardoz. It's like Zardoz showed up at the nativity scene. Oh, there's that nice camel. Here's the three magi right here. Right, there they are. They're the three wise men. They're where are they? The three stars. Is Zardoz one of the three wise men? Oh, they're way down here. They're at the end of the story. What the hell is going on here? This is this is the nativity scene. Oh my God. Yep. I clearly remember this guy from the story. I guess that's where the little blonde baby Jesus. And what's really interesting too is like what's going on back here. You know, it's almost like a weird representation of sort of there's this reality and then there's this reality behind it. It's almost like this Tartarian sort of cutaway in a lot of ways, right? The whole thing is just a trip. This is what I was really interested in right there, these guys. We are living in a very, very odd world. A very odd world. Okay. T. Jordan says 13,000 for each American, not wasted on corporate government. Yeah, I mean, it'd be great. You know, I mean, I think really if they wanted to kickstart the economy, they just give everybody over the age of 18 $50,000 just for starters. That's it. Boom. One time $50,000 shot to the economy, and then you can, you know, apply it to your business. You can apply whatever, right? It's a one-time deal. One-time deal. And I will say this, and perhaps this would be, I don't know, maybe it wouldn't sit too well with people that pay off their student loans. They got to end this student loan thing. They have to end it. It is complete usury. Total usury. So I would say that for people who have paid their student loans, that they would receive some kind of prorated amount, and you would figure that out based on like a median average per person of what's still owed on student loans, like across the country, right? So let's say the average that's owed on student loans is $35,000 or $40,000. Let's say it's $40,000. That if you paid off your student loan and there would be like $40,000 worth of debt forgiveness for a student loan, and that was the median average, that you would get that. So it would be remotely fair, right? So if you had a student loan ever since the government took over the student loan process, which they should get out of, by the way, should have gotten out a long time ago, that there would be a debt forgiveness with student loans, period, end of story, and whatever the median amount of debt that's owed, still, you find out what that average is and you compensate that average to the people that have already paid it, so they don't feel like they're getting ripped off. Like, okay, I'm good with that. My student loan was $150,000 on the average. There's $50,000 outstanding with most people. I get $50,000 back. Great, I'll take it. Boom, done. You relieve the burden of debt for those people. You relieve the burden of debt, just the way it is. So they get something out of the deal. All right, I'm out of here. Your cousin's over $1 million. What is your cousin studying to do? My God, $1 million in student loans? Jeez. That's not a wise financial decision. My 2 cents, my opinion. Okay, I'm out of here too. Be back here tonight, 7 p.m. Or 6 p.m. rather, 6 p.m. standard. We're going to be streaming live from the Citizens Council here in Fredericksburg. Hang in there. These are just the latest headlines of what's happening in terms of our own experience with the Great Conjunction. And we'll have more to talk about, obviously. I'll see you tonight. I'll see you tomorrow. Use your head in order to discern what's real, your heart to stay open what's possible. I'm Robert Phoenix. Thank you for being here. Check out last night's show if you want to get into more information astrologically on the Great Conjunction. Bye for now.